Good afternoon. You're watching NTV at One, and my name is Olive Burrows. Our team has the latest on the novel coronavirus. We start with Vincent Odor, who's at Parliament's precincts. Vincent, the government announced a number of interventions aimed at cushioning Kenyans and the economy against the shocks of COVID-19, including tax cuts, which need to be approved by the National Assembly. What headway has been made in this regard? All right, it appears he cannot hear us, but we'll be back with him shortly. Now, still with the coronavirus, a number of businesses situated in Nairobi's central business district remain closed as major corporations drastically reduce staff in line with measures aimed at preventing the further spread of coronavirus. NTV's Seth Olale has been roaming across the capital and has the latest status update of operations in County 047. Seth, what does Nairobi look like?
Well, it seems like a busy midday in the capital, that is the county of Nairobi. I'm just actually standing a few meters from the Nation Center where Olivia is transmitting live to the rest of the world. But it is a busy morning, a rather busy midday here along Kiambu Street, and this is because there is a slight traffic jam that has been ongoing for some time. I'm just going to tell you why there's a lot of traffic on this particular route. This is an area where there are a lot of taxis, a lot of vehicles operating from. It is one of the busy streets along the Nairobi business district. We have also businesses, both small and large businesses situated along this very busy route. And like I told you, this particular traffic jam has been caused because of just one thing that is happening along the CBD or inside the CBD. This is because of some road repairs being conducted or being undertaken by the Nairobi County government. And this is Banda Street, where I am right now. These are live pictures from Banda Street, where the Nairobi County government is actually doing some road repairs that has led to this particular road. This is the Banda Street being closed. But even as you notice, even as the road repairs are ongoing, some businesses have actually been shut, and this is of course due to the measures that have been undertaken by both business entities and also the government in terms of trying to reduce staff and trying to put measures aimed at preventing further spread of the virus. This is a popular joint. This is the Safaricom shop. It's usually busy. As at last week, it was still operating, but what you're seeing right now, it has been shut. Then next to the Safaricom shop, we have a shop that usually sells menswear, and this also has been shut. Just telling you that what is happening at the Nairobi CBD. We have some shops that are open, others have been closed, and like I mentioned to you, some were operating as late as last week, that was Saturday, but have been closed. The ones that are operating, obviously they're taking measures aimed at preventing the further spread of this virus. But even just next to some of these beauty shops or clothing outlets, we also have this particular joint that is very famous right in the capital for selling alcoholic stuff, and it has been closed. Then we have the Mojo's Lounge and Bar, of course, following that directive that all bars, all clubs remain shut until further notice. It is just the situation here. But even apart from this particular club, also next to it, we have some 3 stalls that have been shut, just giving you a clear picture of how the capital looks like on this day of when. We're also expecting the Cabinet Secretary for Health, Mutahi Kagwe, to later on give a presser. But like I mentioned earlier, Banda Street is on a lockdown. This is because of some road repairs that are being undertaken by the county government, and it just tells you the kind of traffic that is expected along or the environs of Banda Street, that particular road leading to Jamia Mosque. And this has been ongoing at least for the last 2 hours, and it has caused that traffic that you saw earlier on, Kimathi Street, a lot of traffic, but even worth noting is that a number of businesses have been shut down, and this is because of some of the measures business owners are taking, either to reduce staff or just totally close shops until this particular situation is contained, even as they wait for further directive from the authorities. And speaking about the authorities, we're expecting an update from the Ministry of Health. That particular presser is going to take place at around 3 to 4 p.m. And of course, we'll be keeping you updated as to the status of the measures undertaken by the government as far as preventing the further spread of the COVID-19 is concerned. Olive.
Thank you, Seth. Seth, walking us through quite literally the impact of the novel coronavirus on Kenyan businesses, particularly here in the Central Business District. We go back to Parliament, where we have Vincent Odwor standing by. Vincent, I hope you can hear me now. Are we making headway in terms of the legislation required to facilitate the interventions that were announced by President Uhuru Kenyatta with regard to cushioning Kenyans and the economy against COVID-19?
Absolutely. Regarding that, Parliament, specifically the National Assembly, is expected to have a special sitting this week, probably earliest on Thursday, whereby members will be able to deliberate on and also consider those proposals on the floor of the House. You know, today, this Monday, National Assembly Majority Leader Aden Duale is expected to meet with National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuru Yatani to be able to be briefed on some of those proposals and also to receive some bills that have been prepared by the National Treasury regarding those proposals that were put forward by President Kenyatta. It is thereafter that Majority Leader Duale will now write to the National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi requesting him for a special sitting. And it is there or thereafter that the Speaker of the House will now summon all the members of Parliament to show up and be able to deliberate on those proposals on the floor of the House. And you know, even if we probably that is likely to happen today, probably if the Majority Leader receives the bills today and then he requests the Speaker and then the Speaker summons the members of Parliament tomorrow on Tuesday, you know, you don't expect to see the members of Parliament here on Wednesday, because right now, you know, the House is on recess, and during recess, most or if not all of the members of Parliament usually go to their constituency to serve their constituents, and therefore you have to give them time to really be able to travel back to the city and be able to attend this special sitting. And you know, during any special sitting, what happens is that members usually are presented with only one agenda, and this time round the only agenda will be to deliberate on and also consider the proposals that were put forward by President Uhuru Kenyatta. And you know, as you know, some of these proposals, you remember that President Uhuru Kenyatta had directed National Treasury to ensure that all employees who earn below 24,000 shillings per month are able to be given a 100% tax relief, and also those who earn more than 24,000 shillings will now be required to pay, you know, 25% of pay as you earn tax, down from the normal 30%. And also the president had recommended to have the VAT reduced from 16% to 14%. And also when it comes to the micro, small and medium enterprises, the president had said that their turnover tax should be reduced from the current 3% to 1%, whereby now we'll see from 1st April, small businesses will now be paying 1 shilling for every 100 shillings they make from their gross sales. Also, you know, when it comes to the elderly, orphans, and also vulnerable members of our community, the president had recommended that the National Treasury, you know, gives an additional 10 billion shillings to be able to be as cash transfers to be able to cushion these vulnerable members of the society, not forgetting the reduction of corporate tax for companies from 30% to 25%. And these are some of the recommendations and proposals that will be tabled before the House in terms of bills, so that the MPs can really work on them, anchor them in law, and also ensure that they have a legal backing moving forward so as to ease their enforcement from 1st April. But remember, Even as we are waiting for members of parliament to come this Thursday, there are challenges, including how they will ensure they have kept social distancing, because, you know, in parliament, there are many members of parliament, and therefore the House Business Committee and also the House leadership must come up with measures to ensure they will be able to keep social distancing. And this is in terms of determining how many members will be allowed in the House to deliberate on these issues, and also whether they will work in shifts, and basically how they will ensure that they are going to reduce the risk of contracting the coronavirus or even spreading it. And therefore, these are some of stuff that we are waiting to see how they are going to go about it. And if that will happen, then I think it will be a relief to Kenyans, because we've seen a number of Kenyans have been calling on the members of parliament to really right now provide solutions to this pandemic that is dogging Kenyans right now, and to play their legislative role, and also to use parliament to also be able to not only cushion the economy but also cushion the ordinary Kenyans and the Kenyans in general during this pandemic time. Therefore, today we expect that we'll try and look for the majority leader and Duale to talk to him, to tell us what are the type of kind of bills he has received and the way forward moving from today. That is it for now. For now, I'm taking you back to studio. I'm Vincent Oduor.
Thank you, Vincent. As you heard, he has the facts on his fingertips. He's even told us that arrangements are being made to ensure that MPs observe social distancing at that special sitting. Now, staying with the coronavirus, and this time at the police interventions, Coast Regional Police Commander Rashid Yakub has reiterated that thorough investigations into the alleged police brutality will be conducted and action will be taken on any officer found culpable. Rashid also appealed to coastal residents to adhere to curfew timelines and avoid landing themselves on the wrong side of the law.
Ofisa wangu ataonekana amefanya kitendo ambayo sio mzuri, ninahakikishia wananchi tukufu hatua tutaichukua kama vile mwananchi mwingine angechukuliwa. Hatuta defend officer yetu wale ambaye kazi yao ni kupiga wananchi, hatuwezi. Katika nafikiri college zetu za polisi hakuna mahali ilisema mwananchi apigwe. Excess force hakuna. So whoever anafanya hiyo, officers zangu ujue anafanya kitu ambayo sheria haikubali.
Aipoa tulipopata report tumeanza kuinvestigate, na we don't discuss matters investigation in public. Matters investigations are confidential.
On the issue of curfew, we are appealing to members of the public. Tafadhali, hasa watu wa Mombasa upande wa Likoni, tafadhali tufuate maagizo na muda tuliowekewa. Tunawaomba matajiri, hasa wale ambao wameandika watu, please release wafanyikazi mapema, especially wale wanaenda upande wa feri.
Even as Kenyans are being exhorted to get home on time to beat the curfew time of 7 p.m., there are residents in Nyatike who no longer have a place to call home due to flooding. Bernard Ojwang is covering those events. Bernard, what interventions have both the national and the county governments put in place?
Well, indeed, Olive, this is a sad situation here. Over 500 families have been rendered homeless. These are following the ongoing floods. As you can see behind me, these are homes, and people have been forced to move away from these homes. And of course, remember, recently the government, President Uhuru Kenyatta said that as from 7 p.m. up to 5 p.m., nobody will be allowed to walk. And of course, these people, they are saying that even though the government came up with the idea of curbing the cases of coronavirus, they cannot adhere to the rules that were put of staying away from a crowded place. We have made to understand that currently there is a school just next to us here called Angugo School. They are staying there. Some are staying in Nyora Village, Nyora Primary School. where they are camping there. And remember, with the measures that the government is currently putting in place to cover this deadly disease, these people, they are at risk, and they are saying that since the flood started last week on Friday, no county government officials have come here at least to talk to them, give them way forward, and also the people concerned, we are talking of health officers, they have not been here. They are forcing them, the locals here, at least to stay together despite the risk that they are posing themselves to. And of course, some of them, they are saying they can't move back to their places, and also they are accusing the body concerned, saying that since they have been experiencing floods here, no action has been taken, and also they have been pleading with the county government, both county and national government, at least to construct some dikes here, at least to prevent these kind of problem. And of course, they are saying no action has been taken, and the government seems to be not willing to come up with a long-lasting solution. And currently, as I be leaving you, I will be leaving you. We are heading to Anyora Primary School, where we are made to understand over 200 families are staying there. We'll be talking to them just to get to know more from them, to weigh the situation. And remember, they are saying that currently they
Bernard out there on a boat. Unfortunately, it appears we've lost him, but of course we'll be hearing from him a lot later during our 4 p.m. 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. news briefs. Time now for a break, but when we come back, we'll tell you more on the steps that county and the national governments are taking to curb the spread of the COVID-19.
Molfix breathable surface developed with airsoft technology is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I've found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Working from home? No problem. Fiber Home has you covered with the fastest and most reliable internet speeds. Get connected today. Kazi lazima iendelee.
Parenting is all about learning. When to be tough and when to be gentle. Tough, gentle. But when it comes to fever, you need to be both. Panadol Baby and Infant starts to work on fever in 15 minutes and is gentle on the tummy. Tough call. Panadol Baby and Infant. Tough on fever, gentle on your child.
Glad to have you back. You're watching NTV at ONE, and my name is Olive Burrows. Samples taken from the body of a 21-year-old male student who died at Kangundo Level 4 Hospital have been sent for analysis to ascertain if the patient succumbed to coronavirus-related illness. The deceased, who had been rushed to the hospital, is said to have had a serious sore throat, fever and pneumonia, which eventually led to his demise. The Machakos County Health Department later moved in to fumigate the exact spot in the hospital where the student lay before his body was transferred to the hospital morgue. The hospital then evacuated the outpatient facility. The Machakos County Executive Committee member for Health said that they are waiting test results from Nairobi to know for sure if he died of the coronavirus. Away from Machakos County now to Kisumu County, and as I say, when the cat's away, the mice will play. And police officers in Kisumu County have been hunting for firearms and ammunition stolen from the Kibos police station under the cover of a curfew imposed on the country. In the OB report, a gang raided the Muhoroni-based police post, making away with the guns and disappearing into sugar plantations. The officer in charge of the post, and that is Sergeant David Makali, said that no arrests have been made almost 24 hours after the 3 rifles went missing. He says that G3 magazines, 2 MP magazines, 144 rounds of ammunition were also taken. Nyanza Regional DCI boss James Kipsoye and the Regional Police Commander Vincent Makoha, who were in charge of the operation, say that the gang is believed to have taken advantage of the heavy rains to break into the armory. Well, unfortunately for ladies and gentlemen in Molo and Kuresoi sub-counties of Nakuru, all salons and barbershops have been closed in an effort to stem the spread of the coronavirus. Meanwhile, the public service vehicle operators in Molo say they're at risk of contracting the virus as a result of the poor environment in which they've been forced to work.
Small businesses in Molo and Kuresoi sub-counties have begun to feel the heat from the global pandemic COVID-19. Now, all salons and barbershops have been closed. Food hawkers have also been advised to temporarily suspend their business. A public health officer from Molo says they had warned the traders to adhere to social distancing, but they failed to do so.
Wakati unanyolewa mtu akikunyoa atakunyoa kama ako huko mbali. Si lazima akue karibu na wewe. Sasa na ukinyolewa labda uko na hiyo corona ama endo ako na corona si utapata. So hiyo ndo tunasema imetoka, tumeambiwa saluni zote na kinyozi lazima zifungwe.
Wale watu ambao wanauza watermelon wanakatakata, unapata kwamba hawajali hali yao ya kuwa weka distance wakati ambapo wanashughulika.
Still in Molo, transport has been affected in Molo Stadium following an order compelling all public service vehicles to operate from the stadium, which is in bad condition. The directive came in an effort to promote the social distancing guideline. The PSV operators say the stadium is swampy, making it difficult to maneuver their vehicles.
Hata kama tuko na hii shida ya ugonjwa wa corona, ndio tunainga serikali kwa kutuleta hapa ndio tusiie maambukizi huko nje. Lakini hapa ndani mahali penye tumeletwa ndio tunaona tutapata hii corona sasa tena zaidi.
Stadium mwenyewe imefensiwa na mawe na choo hakuna ndani. Ile yenye iko ya kitambo ilizibwa na mawe. Sasa haitumiki.
Hapa hivi stadium kumekuwa shamba. Unaweza gari kukwama. Kiingia hapa hivi ukiwa msafi utatoka hapa ukiwa mchafu.
Hii stadium tu iko na entrance tu. Haina exit. Kwa hivyo the same entrance is the same exit. Kwa hivyo magari yote ikiwa inakusanyika hapo za kutoka Nairobi, za kutoka Kericho, za kutoka Kisii, zote zikiwa hapa na zingine za kutoka Uruguruni ama na za kuenda Nakuru, naona hapo there is a disaster in waiting.
They also complained that the facility lacks toilets and hand washing spots. They want the county government of Nakuru to intervene and save the situation. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
It has now been 3 nights since the government imposed a dusk to dawn curfew, and while some Kenyans have complained over the execution, the curfew has largely been complied with. Here is the situation in the counties.
Businesses in Meru town were closed at around 6:30 p.m. and only a few of the people could be seen hurrying to their houses by 7. Police officers conducted patrols to ensure that the residents comply with the government's curfew directives. Most of the streets were empty with no movement, and only police officers on patrol could be seen. According to residents, the move by the government to ensure that the coronavirus does not spread was very commendable, and it is a responsibility of every Kenyan to ensure that the virus does not spread.
Na kuambia kitu ile tumeona siku ya kwanza, nilirudi na maziwa mtungi mzima. Kwa maana haikuwa imeisha, kwa watu walikuwa wanakimbizana huku sijui kama swara. Magari bikibiki yote yanapitana. Lakini mimi naonelea hiyo ni nzuri kwa maana lazima tutii.
In Kitui, all businesses were also shut by 6:30 p.m. The town was empty by 7 p.m., except a few individuals, mostly town dwellers, who encountered police officers on patrol. Some escaped with a few cans. Bodaboda operators who spoke to NTV earlier before the curfew hours said they were struggling to make ends meet. And in Kilifi, Interior Ministry Chief Administrative Secretary Hussein Dado wants Kenyans to observe the rules of the curfew and stay at home instead of engaging police in running battle. Dado said the curfew was meant to help reduce the spread of COVID-19 pandemic, which was spreading all over the world and causing loss of lives.
We have seen for ourselves that it is total calm. People have accepted. Let other Kenyans take this example of Malindi. They don't have to confront the police. They don't have to try authorities. Tomorrow again you will see all these cries and hula balloos. It is for the good of the country.
Speaking after making an impromptu inspection tour to see how the curfew was being observed in Kilifi County, he noted that he was impressed by the way residents were observing the law. Dado said streets in Malindi were closed at 7 p.m. and commended the residents for staying indoors. He urged other Kenyans in the other counties to comply with the law. Haile Magongo, NTV.
A section of traders in Wangige want to be compensated for the destruction of their property owing to the construction of the road connecting Gitaru and Ndenderu. The traders allege that bulldozers descended on their stalls this morning without prior warning and giving them no time to salvage their property. The demolition of their property comes 1 week after they were ordered to cease doing business at the site to prevent the spread of COVID-19. A matatu stage was also a casualty of the demolition.
Hakuna notice tumepata. Tulisikia tu fununu vibada zinapigwa lakini hatukuwa tunajua. Watu wenye walianzia kupigiwa ni hao watu wa matuda wa nini wao wanatandikaga mero na nini na nini.
Kama kawaida tukaamka kuingia kazini lakini kufika kwa stage tunaambiwa tusiingie stage. Mahali ambapo tunapelekwa ni shamba la mtu. Lile shamba tunapelekwa ijelimwa, magari kiingia kule, magari nyingine inakwama huko. Sasa tulikuwa tunataka kujiuliza, hii kaunti ya Kiambu, sisi tukiwa wachuuzi, tukiwa wafanya kazi wa matatu, tunafaa kuelekea wapi ama tunafaa kubebea wapi?
Mimi nauzanga sukuma huku, hasara yenye tumeenda ni kama milioni 3.
Angetupea notice, atuambie nani kwa shule fulani, watu wa soko waende shule fulani wapango huko. Watu wa matatu wangepelekwa wapango mahali fulani waende hapo. Sasa hiyo hata hakuna matatu inabeba. Juu watu yuko kazi hatujui tutaenda wapi, hatujapangwa.
Now let's take a look at how the rest of the world is responding to COVID-19. And Malians headed to the polls after a long-delayed parliamentary election just hours after the country recorded its first coronavirus death. There were security fears about the vote even before the war-torn West African country recorded its first coronavirus infection. Parliamentary elections were meant to take place in late 2018, but the poll was postponed several times, largely due to security concerns. Some 200,000 people displaced by the near-daily violence in Mali Center and North will not be able to vote. Casting a shadow over the vote is the fate of a veteran opposition leader, Soumaila Cisse, and 6 members of his team who are now believed to be in the hands of jihadists. Despite the numerous difficulties, experts nonetheless hope that the election will lead to reforms that may drag Mali out of its cycle of violence. However, several other opposition parties called for the vote to be postponed due to the coronavirus fears. Time now for sports, and global sports has been severely disrupted by the coronavirus pandemic, but now sports is playing its part in finding solutions to the global problem. Formula One engineers under the Mercedes team have developed a breathing aid that can help keep the coronavirus patients out of intensive care. University College London engineers worked with clinicians at UCLH and Mercedes Formula One to build the device, which delivers oxygen to the lungs without needing a ventilator. If trials go well, up to 1,000 of the aids can be produced per day by Mercedes beginning in a week's time. The start of this year's Formula One season was postponed due to the outbreak of the coronavirus. One of the Italian capital's football teams, AS Roma, has started delivering coronavirus emergency care packages to its most vulnerable supporters. Italy continues to be one of the countries hardest hit by the coronavirus outbreak, with the entire country placed on lockdown, leaving many elderly people isolated and vulnerable. To combat this, Roma has started delivering its Roma Cares packages to every season ticket holder over the age of 75. These boxes include food, surgical face masks, protective gloves, and bottles of hand sanitizer, as well as the day's edition of the local newspaper. Last week, the club also announced that it would buy 3 ventilators and 8 intensive care beds for a hospital in Rome after its players and coaches donated a day's salary. All right, that's it for NTV at 1. We will be back with the update from the Ministry of Health, so you do want to keep it NTV. That update should be taking place around 3 p.m. or thereabouts. My name is Olive Burrows. Thank you for keeping me company.
This is NTV.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back.
Frequently with soap and clean water. Cover nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing with a tissue or flexed elbow. Avoid close contact 1 meter or 3 feet with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms. If you have fever, cough and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Avoid raw or uncooked animal products. Help the world put an end to the spread of respiratory diseases by sharing this message with a friend. Message brought to you by Sour Herbal Family Bath Soap.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate.
1, wake up, wake up. 2, brush up, brush up. 3, start through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Start through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea.
Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smell about.
Wherever you are, you can still stay updated daily. Get your favorite paper delivered to you. For home or office delivery, contact us on 0719 038 062 or email subscription@ke.nationmedia.com. Daily Nation, the truth.
At times when this lake, it dries to the extent that it's so shrunk, you can almost walk across the lake because the entire land, huku mali kumejaa maji, it's all dry. Lazima nifanye hiyo part ya mwisho, nimalize. Niko tu tense venye nitaifanya correct. Mr. John, habari yako? Nzuri sana. Haya. Yes, naona huku ndo kwenu.
Lake Naivasha is the hub of all the activities that are happening within this particular region.
NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated PG. It may contain scenes unsuitable for children under the age of 10.
Living in a trap house.
Badilishe maeneo bro. Rada manake Mambasani twasija. Lazima tukat cost kwa hii accommodation.
Boss, lazima tulale.
Si lazima tulale bro. Tumeenda Mombasa kulala, mama tumeenda kujibamba.
V, what? Are you okay? Just mind your business. Are you my mother? Hello? Mama V?
Yes?
Oh, it's Tasha.
I'm hoping you wouldn't have to call. Is V okay?
Honestly, sijui. She's been acting a little strange of late.
You surprised me. Well, it is my singular goal to surprise
and impress you.
So utakuwa surprised nikiuliza swali.
Ask.
Where is this thing headed?
I didn't come all this just to say good morning. Just give me a quick one, just a quick fix, please. Just kidogo too. If you don't give me what I want, I'm going to go straight to the cops and tell them it was you who gave me the drugs and no PS.
Masaa imeenda. Unajua sasa ni jioni.
Kwa nini don't